Oh, okay. But I didn't know that before the draft. But I always said about him in college, I said, like, he moves well. He's super accurate. He's got kind of a casualness to him. Like, he's not, his dad's famous. He's been at famous places. He's not intimidated by the moment. His confidence doesn't ebb and flow. I think he lacks maturity and self-awareness, but there's a looseness and a bring it on attitude that I didn't think he was going to shrink. I predicted Friday he'd go 13 of 18, 1 touchdown and 1 horrific pick. And he went close to that. But unlike Dylan Gabriel, you do get big plays out of Shedeur. And that matters. And if Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback, so is Shedeur Sanders. And I thought Kevin Stefanski, smart game plan. Rolled him out. At the goal line, they used the Wildcat. And there were very few negative plays. Obviously, Shedeur was coachable and listened. So there was a lot of stuff I liked. I never really pre-draft or during the draft understood why he fell. Antonio Pierce, the former Raider coach, said this weekend we had him as a first-round player. So, and then you hear stuff and the speeding tickets, and you're like, yeah, he's got to grow up. But I thought he'd go 13 to 18 with a horrible pick, and he went 11 for 20 with a horrible pick. But overall, you got some big plays. There's no reason to go back to Dylan Gabriel. Let's let this thing play out. And, it's like, in a weird way, Shedeur Sanders is the perfect holiday fling. You play around for the next 6 or 7 weeks, and then eventually Cleveland moves on to a steady or somebody they're going to have, a 15-year relationship with. But there's nothing wrong with a holiday fling.
But then Colin simply anointed him as a franchise-caliber quarterback. Now he's claiming he's merely a seasonal fling. So it doesn't appear that he has a fully developed perspective. Or perhaps he simply wants to state, I don't believe Shedeur is the answer. He seems to be twisting in the wind, because previously he was asserting, I believe Shedeur warrants a first-round selection, etc., etc. The Steelers should consider trading someone like TJ Watt, and all that kind of talk. Then he abruptly shifted to, I'm finished with Shedeur. I'm moving on. He's insignificant. He lacks the quality. Blah, blah, blah. Now, he has a decent performance against the most impoverished squad in the league, and suddenly it's, hey, Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback, and so is Shedeur, yet simultaneously not the future for the Cleveland Browns. It just makes you wonder, what is the actual position here? What is the current stance? I cannot comprehend why Shedeur Sanders has caused such a collective malfunction in people's critical faculties. I genuinely don't. I have largely refrained from extensive commentary on Shedeur throughout the season because I had no intention of dissecting every minor occurrence involving him. I felt no compulsion to do so. Then I posted a post-game analysis clip and was instantly reminded of the absurdity proliferating in the comments section. The allegations, the utterly vile accusations that get tossed around, which are, to be perfectly frank, just reprehensible. It's an embarrassment to our current discourse. But the discussions in general just seem utterly unproductive. When engaging in any dialogue concerning Shedeur Sanders, if you utter anything less than, he was spectacular, he was phenomenal, that was an incredible inaugural start, the conversation immediately hits a dead end. The truth of the matter is, he performed adequately. He had an okay game, which, for a rookie making his first career start, constitutes a success. That is a positive outcome, but that is precisely all it was. It was okay. To attempt to fabricate and inflate this into him taking the league by storm is, frankly, ludicrous. And even the remarks he was making, this was based on a single week. Imagine if we had an entire offseason of this. It's just, can everyone please relax? Can you just take a breath? Some of the proclamations emerging from that camp are just absurd. I am the quarterback Cleveland has been anticipating. And it genuinely brings to mind, and people are going to misinterpret this, but I'm beyond caring. It reminds me of a Tyler Perry monologue. He has this brilliant little segment where he's parodying the media voice, discussing topics like breakups and how one manages their life, their relationships and friendships. And he makes this very astute point. It's actually quite profound and intelligent. I've listened to it numerous times and find it motivating. He eventually gets to a climax where he just says, stop. Stop praying for it. Stop pleading for love. It's as if he's saying, just go out and experience life. And he concludes with, be quiet. Cease the endless prayers. Stop talking about it. Just go live. Just act. And that's what this situation with Shedeur brings to mind. It's the same sentiment. Just be quiet and go play football. Patrick Mahomes doesn't speak in that manner. Josh Allen doesn't communicate like that. Baker Mayfield doesn't express himself that way. Lamar Jackson doesn't. Jaden Daniels doesn't. Jalen Hurts doesn't. No other established quarterback is generating the same kind of declarations and sounds that Shedeur is producing. And that is what subsequently warps the entire discussion. Because if you dare to say, I dislike what he said, it instantly morphs into, you dislike that he's a young, confident, blah, blah, blah. And that's simply not the case. Jalen Hurts possesses immense confidence. Patrick Mahomes is supremely self-assured. Jaden Daniels is confident. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. We could list names indefinitely. So, once again, what is so grating is that people commandeer this conversation. They seize it and then attempt to force you into a rhetorical corner, demanding you stare into the camera and proclaim, Shedeur Sanders was magnificent. He delivered an unbelievable performance. Myles Garrett observes Shedeur Sanders complete a pass and states that not many NFL quarterbacks can make that throw. What are you even talking about? Every single starting quarterback in the National Football League is capable of making the throw that Shedeur Sanders made. What is the discussion here? That is precisely my point when I say we are fracturing our own reasoning over this. It's borderline unbelievable. He played okay, which is a success. It's a significant victory. If you are a first-year quarterback making your initial start and you avoid being a catastrophe, demonstrating mere competence, that is a substantial triumph. Therefore, we can analyze it through that prism, but we are not required to invent a narrative that doesn't exist, nor should we be coerced into doing so. Consequently, I find the entire spectacle rather preposterous. I truly do. I absolutely do. I mean, even tangential matters like the speeding ticket. Colin is now dredging up the speeding tickets, and I'm left wondering, why? What relevance does that possess to our current topic? That isn't the subject we are addressing. We're discussing traffic violations. What connection does that have to anything at this moment? Zero. None whatsoever. And furthermore, if the argument is that he's superior to Dillon Gabriel, you simultaneously forfeit the right to label Kevin Stefanski a genius. Because if you contend, oh, Kevin Stefanski was so shrewd, the game plan he devised for Shedeur, etc., and then simultaneously argue that since Shedeur, and I quote, offers more big play potential than Dillon Gabriel, we should continue with him for the remaining weeks and let him play out the season. Well, then logically, he should have been starting over Dillon Gabriel several weeks ago. So no, you cannot then assert that Stefanski's initial decision was intelligent. The entire dialogue just feels, to me, like an incessant disaster. It really does. Let me reiterate. My position is that Shedeur Sanders' first career start was successful. That is exactly what I stated in my post-game analysis. And yet, individuals in the comments of this very video will inevitably approach me and declare, you simply despise Shedeur. You're just a pessimist, blah blah. Or even more heinous allegations. It's as if the Shedeur Sanders phenomenon becomes a completely no-win scenario. I can guarantee people will even misrepresent my point, saying, are you just telling Shedeur to shut up? No. I referenced a Tyler Perry inspirational talk that I personally admire and frequently revisit. I drew a parallel to his core message of, just go out there and live. Stop incessantly talking about it. I was quoting Tyler Perry. I am uncertain what more is expected of me. I have no personal link to Shedeur. I have no relationship with him. Shedeur does not hear a single word I utter. Nothing I say registers on his radar, and that is perfectly acceptable. It's fine. It's just that I simply don't understand. I genuinely don't. Consider this. Patrick Mahomes did not receive this level of frenzied attention after his first start back in 2018. Jaden Daniels. Examine Jaden Daniels in his very first NFL contest. He was 17 for 24, passing average 7.7 yards per attempt, recorded a 93.1 passer rating, had 16 carries for 88 yards, and scored 2 rushing touchdowns in his professional debut. This was against a top-tier NFL opponent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the conversation surrounding him was not nearly this amplified. This was the second overall selection in the draft, joining the Washington Commanders, a profoundly terrible team until his arrival. He was their leading rusher. He completed 70% of his passes. It is as impressive a debut as one could possibly envision. And yet, nobody was discussing him as someone revolutionizing the sport. Jackson Dart, in his first start, went 13 for 20 for 111 yards and a touchdown, achieving a 96 passer rating, while also rushing 10 times for 54 yards and another touchdown. He led the Giants to a victory over the undefeated Chargers on the road, securing their first win of the season. Again, this is an ideal scenario for an opening day. And yet, the discourse was nothing like the one we are currently enduring regarding Shedeur Sanders. That is the central point I am emphasizing. That is the core of my observation more than anything else. But these are simply my reflections. I would be tremendously interested to hear your own. What were all of your impressions regarding Shedeur Sanders' inaugural game as the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Please share your perspectives in the comment section below. I read every single comment, so whether you find yourself in agreement or in vehement opposition, let's engage in some dialogue. Let's have some spirited debates. But ultimately, let's ensure we are enjoying the process. And please do consider subscribing. We are in the process of cultivating a fantastic community here, and would absolutely adore having you as a part of it. My goal is to build something to which we all feel a genuine connection, something we are genuinely thrilled to be involved with. I believe we are making significant progress toward that objective. Also, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely assists with its visibility within the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you next time.